Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd. And as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
When Cecilia's abusive ex takes his own life and leaves her his fortune, or only $5 million, she suspects his death was a hoax. As a series of coincidences turn lethal, Cecilia works to prove that she is being hunted by someone no one else can see. That's right, we're finishing up 2020 by releasing our 2020 in 2021.
2021.
We watched The Invisible Man.
We did.
From director Leigh Whannell. This is the second Leigh Whannell we've
It
done.
is. We watched.
What was the first one we saw?
Upgrade.
Upgrade, yeah.
It did have that feel from it. Now that I think back on it, it did have a lot of that. Yeah.
His camera movement.
They're fucking gorgeous, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like
It's
Hitchcockian.
Not
it's
just
not
that,
even
though.
that. Like just the way that it moves and like what they had to do for some of these shots as well. I've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff.
The thing that I kind of picked up on it now is the big, fancy, overly techie house.
Oh yeah, the cold house. Yeah, the cold, like empty of any emotion house.
There was a lot of care in the display that went on in the film because there was a lot of things that they did to just made to things look not feel right, kind of things like that.
No, it's not supposed to be.
Their house actually was 4 different houses. In Australia. They filmed this in New Zealand, and so the living room or the bedroom is actually a living room of the house they used as their mansion. One of the 4 houses, anyway.
But yeah, no, with the whole like over San Francisco shots that they kept, I was like, they're making California look really cold. Yeah. And California is like sunny and like has beaches, but every shot was like that kind of cold sunshine. It had that blue overlay.
It's a lot of desaturated looks.
Yeah.
You take the color out to make it feel that way.
Colder.
It's just cold. And especially in their house with the cement walls, I feel like, and like it's just cold
with technological
all the nothingness kind of thing.
Yeah, just
and I did love this movie, and if I had been a single woman watching this movie would have scared the shit out of me. But I'm in a good relationship, nice healthy relationship, so I'm not as scared as this movie. But yeah. And I do have to say that Sleeping with the Enemy walked so that this movie could run.
Yes.
This was definitely, just from the very beginning with the whole ocean and the sounds and everything, I'm like, this is very, I think even I said the first time I watched it, I'm like, so basically this is Sleeping with the Enemy, except he is invisible.
He has an invisible suit,
it's the same story to me.
It's a crossover between Hollow Man
I love how
Sleeping with the Enemy.
I loved how it opened up and it just gave you a sense of tension.
You have that anxiety right from the get-go.
Like just from the get-go.
And it's because there's no sound except the one she is making.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck, I need to be quiet. Like we're trying
Another
to get out of this
choice that
house.
they made because he actually had music for it, but was like, no, I just think the cold ocean.
Yeah, and no, it
enough.
works. Like her every little breath that she takes, like you notice it because in that situation you would be noticing every sound that you make. And that kicking of the dog thing, I'm like, motherfucker, every one of us has done that. Like we all know it's there, but we've all fucking tripped over our dog fucking dishes.
But that poor dog. Like, I mean, you're right. It's just something that's going to happen because it just builds the tension. You see the poor dog, and then all of a sudden it's like, crap, what do I do?
I know she couldn't leave him. I was like, don't leave Zeus. And she did take that thing off.
Yeah, she took
did.
But if it wasn't for Zeus, she wouldn't have got out the second time. So
that's true. Zeus is a companion.
I love the fact that it was a choice of his to start the story like directly into it to where it was, and not like others might have started it too far back where you're like, you get the backstory, you see the abuse, like. It was simple enough that he was able to just like you're getting there right as she's finally leaving,
and you didn't even need the backstory. Yeah,
like you didn't need it. I mean, I think
that tension he created with the quietness,
that he created with everything, and then the fact that like when the actor actually was in the scene where she's driving away in the car and like just how crazy he was and everything, and they really sold it to you. Were like, okay. You don't need the backstory. You get everything that's happening just by her actions.
Anybody that is quietly trying to leave their house and is taking great care for somebody not to wake up clearly is under some sort of duress.
That's the thing. I was like, we watched this movie, and part of me was like, she didn't really plan this out very well. I would have been like, she has her sister come pick her up and be like, you be at the road at this point at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
and then so it's like if she doesn't tell her sister why, it's like, okay. if someone calls you and is like, come pick me up at this road at 4 a.m. and they don't tell you why or they don't want to tell you why, then there's something wrong either way. So you make sure you get your ass there at 4 a.m. and not having her wait for her fucking just looking around.
Okay, I'm a nice person and I would drive without any questions asked, but even if I knew it was super serious, I'm going to be late because I'm just that person.
You're just that type of person.
Who's going to be late. I always try to be on time. It
so
just
if you're
doesn't
ever in
work
trouble
out.
at 4 a.m., don't
tell me
Angie.
I need to be there 10 minutes before you
just
need
tell
me
Angie
to be there is
3:30.
all I'm saying.
Like, I got to be here at 4 a.m.
I'm just saying when I
3:30.
had to clock in every day, it was always, 9:05.
Okay, but yeah. That's one thing if I'm going to work and having to deal with fucking people versus like I have a friend that's good. There's something wrong and they need me at 4 a.m. then this is definitely I need to be there waking at 4
Just give your friends a good 5-10 minute window, all right? If you expect them, if you really need them to be on time somewhere, I'm just saying.
I'm just going to sleep in the car and then you wake me up and we'll drive away. All right. I'm just going to be on that
Pound on the window and be like, it's time to go.
Because you have a better chance.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm going to go drive to the road tonight and just pass out and sleep in the road.
And that's even like saying she told her sister beforehand. Because if somebody called me at 3 to 4 in the morning, I'm not answering my phone.
Well, see, I don't know. I'm assuming she had this
Maybe
pre-planned.
I'm not the person to call if you need a quick escape. So
no, I'm assuming she planned this. I'm assuming she planned this out because I don't think she just called her sister at 3:45 and was like, "Hey, can you get here?
Meet me out behind the house."
They filmed this in New Zealand, but this was supposed to be, California. So I'm like, you're not calling anyone anywhere in California to be like, meet me in 15 minutes.
Oh my god! And when she's on that road and the cracking of the trees, I'm like, no, hurry, because like that was the feeling he intended.
Yeah.
But like, having all those trees popping because we've all been walking through the fucking forest. Like, what are those noises? Why did the trees move like that? Why aren't they just standing still?
Yeah, it's creepy.
And then when he comes out and busts the window, then you're just like, yeah fuck that dude.
Yeah, it was interesting tidbit about that. Since they filmed this in New Zealand, they don't have very many pine trees, if any, in New Zealand. So that was actually like a Christmas tree farm that they found.
That's awesome.
And it was
works.
like, and so it was like, we had to film it at certain angles and at night, so you didn't see that they were just neatly all in a row, like a farm would be, and not like a regular forest. So yeah. A lot of sleight of camera work action.
Yeah. And you know what I really loved about this movie? Even starting off with the main titles, I loved the whole invisible, like with the waves rushing up against it. The whole movie was just like classic Hollywood. And like I said, it gave me those Hitchcock vibes. But even the ending, like everything about this movie, I was just like, finally, a movie that I completely into, and I just feel like it's got that whole classic feel, and it's just good from start to finish. And even though it's not a classic horror film, like it pulls you in every aspect. I feel.
Here's the one thing I do got to say, and this is a spoiler alert, obviously, but knowing what we know at the end of it, I knew that room was going to come into play when she walked by it, and you see that weird kind of
you're like, what's that
bubble.
Holding? Yeah. You're like, why are those braces for?
Yeah.
It's
I was getting
something.
the research level at Gotham Tower from the Batman movies. The
See,
Nolan
I was
movies.
thinking of the Spider-Man movies where they just have those labs.
It was not Spider-Man. I'm thinking even like Tony Stark's little basement kind of thing where he's just tinkering and stuff.
Because again, with any type of movie, when they focus on something for a little bit too long, you're like, okay, that's going to come back into play somehow. Mm-hmm. And while I'm watching this movie, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how are they going to play this into him being invisible? Because I'm seeing this, I'm like, okay, there's no sense of supernatural stuff going on at all.
Yeah.
So the one thing I started thinking, okay, it's going to be some sort of weird suit, maybe some technology thing. I don't know what it's going to be. And then when you finally get the reveal, like, aha, that's what it was.
Paul was not impressed with the golf ball looking aspect when you finally get the reveal the first time with the paint.
Well, when she does the paint scene, I was like, I didn't know that it was going to be like a suit. I wasn't sure if they were going that route or if they were going to do like he's some scientist kind of route. So I was kind of assuming that because that's like I feel like that's the classic Invisible Man thing.
Yeah.
You were thinking like
some scientist
not
created
suit,
something,
but like body
like he
kind
was
of
actually
somehow
was able to get invisible. I didn't think it was a suit. I wasn't going that route technologically, and I wasn't because I think the first time I was really just watching it to just watch the movie and not trying to piece it together. So at first I thought like that's just sloppy because it's just that CGI, hexagonal shape of, when you try and make things like computer generated. So I'm like, it kind of turned me off until later. I was like, all right, I get it now. But even watching it the second time, I'm like, if they would have put a little more detail into that, because when you look into the suit and actually see the suit, you see it's not like a smooth thing. Like there are the little ridges and where like the camera lenses are in each little individual, piece or whatever. So I'm like, if they would have put more detail into that, I think it would have been a little bit better. But I'm not nitpicking that much. I don't really care. I just thought it looked a little cheesy with the golf ball texture.
And I really dug that for a little bit in this movie. It could go either way. You're like, okay, but is this bitch crazy? Like she's been through a lot and all, but like
that's the one thing I was kind of waiting for too, because like I said, once I got the impression, okay, there's not going to be anything supernatural about this.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, wouldn't it be a little bit of a twist if this bitch was crazy?
It's just crazy, yeah. Until I saw the breath when she's standing outside that house.
Yeah.
And it's got the double breaths and you see and I was like, all right, fuck. And then, you know what? When she is in the room, we watched this earlier today, and it made me think of it. When she's in the room and she gets up because she hears something and the blanket's on the floor.
Yeah.
And she's pulling the blanket and she sees the feet. Like, I'm like, I get it. You just fell back and it's a movie. But my ass probably would have kicked something. And I saw that.
Not just that, but
I would have been like, what is that?
Find
just,
something to
kicking in the
throw
air.
at it.
Yeah, just like, nope, I'm out.
See, I kept going the other way with this movie and kept thinking, like, watching it a second time, I was having a mental comedic moment in my head where I'm like thinking of the logistics of him having to like sneak in every time they open a door or like try and sneak around people without getting caught and all that kind of thing. I'm like, that would be a pain in the fucking ass. Like, there's no way. Like, everyone always thinks like, oh, invisibility would be awesome. Like, not if people can still touch you and shit, because it's like you would not be able to do shit anywhere if you were invisible. It's like someone would notice you right away.
You would bump into something.
Or someone would just swing their arm, not knowing, because like, hey, there's nobody behind me. Swing their arm, knock you in the face, and be like, yeah, there'd be no way. You'd be hungry and starving within like 20 minutes.
Yes. And then you'd probably forget you're invisible and be doing stupid shit, like, oh, fuck, they can't see me.
I know. Like, there's so many scenes of her sitting in her room, right? And she hears somebody. She's obviously being watched and she can feel it. And I'm just like, what if he sat there and fell asleep and then like he just
snoring?
Yes, like so he just hears the snoring coming
his stomach
from
growls or something, or he farts or something.
Yeah, the human noises that you make.
Okay, there was the scene, since we already brought it up a little bit, when she goes into the attic or whatever, and she sees the phone and the knife. Okay, first of all, if you see that knife in a plastic bag, I'm like, bitch, he's gonna set your ass up for something.
Yes.
Right? Stop touching it. Don't take it out of the bag.
Yeah. I'm like, horror PSA, if anyone that you know ever has anything of yours in a Ziploc bag, they're going to frame your ass for something. Especially if it's something that can and will hold fingerprints.
Yes.
They are framing your ass.
Right? Take that knife out, wipe off the fingerprints, put it back.
Their fingerprints on it, then put it back.
Not just that, though, but if you see it in a black bag, just get rid of it. Be like, okay, they're not here right now. I'm getting rid of this, so now they don't have it.
Mine. These are mine.
Okay, so anyway, I'm really glad that they changed a lot of things around, because one of the things that Leigh Whannell wanted to do, he's like, I don't want to go for the same cliche stuff that people are expecting.
Yeah.
One of the things in particular, like in the bedroom scene where like, the guy moves or whatever, a lot of people would have shown like that moment where like, he does the eye open or something, one of those little revealing things. And he's like, I didn't want to do those, but I wanted it to keep the fans that would expect those looking for those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're almost like they're disappointed in the fact that they're not there, and kind of like, all right, I'm impressed they didn't go for that. It's almost like I didn't go for the low hanging fruit that you would expect.
That's why I appreciated the breath thing, because up until that point, again, you're on the fence. You're like, okay, is this bitch crazy? Is there really somebody there?
Well, you couldn't go the whole crazy route, because especially
not the whole
in the
time, but in the beginning.
Well, no, I liked the fact that he went there. It's like, all right, look. Because this above anything else, right? I mean, it's one thing if you have ghosts, but it's like, okay, well, you can't really prove ghosts. You can't really do this and that. But it's like, if you have an invisible man, right?
Mm-hmm.
An actual invisible person, they can do anything that they want. They can still touch things, still grab things, still move. Like,
they're still a solid human being.
It's still a solid human being that, there's you still got to play by the rules of being an actual human being, okay? And the fact that it's like, that makes it so much fucking harder to prove that, okay, there's an actual human being who just happens to be invisible, and I don't know how they're fucking doing it. So I'm glad that they went there with the whole is she fucking crazy route.
Yeah.
Like setting her up to be crazy, and just like he had to take her to the fucking Adrian, not Leigh Whannell.
Yeah.
Adrian had to take her to the depths of, just the breaking point to where it's like he had to break her basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're going to spend the rest of your life in a fucking mental hospital for murder.
Yeah.
Unless you come back to me.
And can we talk about the murder?
Oh, my
The
gosh.
sister scene, I audibly gasped because it was so fast.
It happened
Yeah.
so quickly.
And you're just like, what the fuck? No.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Here's the
It
thing
happened so quickly, but at the same time, I'm like, plot hole.
Why?
Why?
How are you going to get that knife in there? Even if you put that under your sleeve or something, under the suit, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, no one noticed, oh, look, there's a floating knife coming out of nowhere.
Nobody noticed it standing behind or beside
she
her.
did.
The sister
The
did.
sister turned and looked like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But no one else. Okay, so he's carrying this knife and it's just floating in, or he has to carry it and put it down real quick and then grab it and move it somewhere else. Like,
Yes.
Could've
the
put it in
whole
the bag.
the whole logistics.
I
he
assumed.
has an invisible attaché case as well.
Yeah.
And he created a whole line of
He
shit.
has a pocket,
Yes.
Paul. He's got a pocket.
That didn't
He
look like
pulls it
that
out.
didn't look
There
like no
you go.
tracksuit to me. Like,
My
But still-
thing,
but-
my thing wasn't so much plot hole, but I'm like, okay, so was he leaning across the table to slit her throat like
don't
this,
think
and then
he
came back
was.
over?
I know he had to do it real quick, like, and then throw it in her hand.
that
real
was
quick,
the only
but-
part where I was like, I don't know, I need to see the logistics.
The
on
thing that I
that.
appreciated about that scene is it came out of fucking nowhere.
It did. It was so fast and it was so quick,
Because
and
the
I
one
was
thing
just
that
like, oh my god.
the thing that Cecilia does, which was a smart thing, is go to a place where there's a shit ton of people.
Mm-hmm.
To where if dude is in a suit or whatever need to be, Invisible Man's trying to find him, it's like, okay, how is he gonna blend in with a bunch of people because there's so many eyes, and how it just came out of nowhere. Because
And even when we first see her in that scene, she's
Yeah.
staring at the
Yeah.
seat across the way from her because she's not even convinced that he's not there.
And that just the whole creepiness is because you see the knife just floating there and like, what the hell's going on? And then when you see him kill her sister, and I was like, oh shit. It just
Yeah.
went from like one thing to an extreme, like, holy crap, because you did not expect that and how brutal it was.
And
Okay,
then the
okay.
silence of everything, the
Okay.
silent scenes.
Who killed
Fucking
the
love.
sister?
Oh, for sure, Adrian. I have a whole train of thought on this. The
'Cause
brother.
that's the other thing too. Like, when
Yeah.
was it the brother? When was it Adrian? Like,
I'm convinced it wasn't the brother in the suit until the very end.
Yeah.
Until
you think that was the only part?
Yeah, I think he was like, "I'm going back home. You need to go kill the kid." And then
Yeah.
he went there. He went home to
Like,
hide.
do you think that he set up the brother? Like,
Yeah, for
like
sure,
She,
yeah.
Like she was
Yeah.
like he'd set his brother up to get rid of him and me at the same time.
Yeah, well,
like,
they talk about how like he's a sociopath narcissist.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Cecilia says it a bunch, and I'm like, oh yeah, nobody fucking matters to him. Not even himself. He can kill himself as long as like he's got the upper hand.
Okay,
Like,
so here's the
it's-
question for you. When did you guys first get the impression that there was both of them?
I didn't know until she pulled it off. Like I was really on the whole side of him being the jellyfish. Like
Yeah.
she calls him. She's like, you're all of him but no spine.
Well,
or
no,
whatever.
because even at that point, like she had. That's when he was like, "Or you go back to him."
Oh no, I'm talking about. I didn't know that he was like completely in on it, as in like knew about the suits and shit. Like, well, no, I
Really?
guess he knew about the suits because he
had
was
to have
like going
known
back.
about-
But
okay,
I meant like.
but at that point, he was. This was already after the the suicide hoax. And okay, this is real quick. Elizabeth Moss, I think she's an amazing actress.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say she's an amazing actress. She can do things that no other actress can do just with looks and
Yeah.
things. I mean,
the scene where she
can
blanks
sell it,
out
right?
mentally and
Yeah.
and then goes
Yeah.
to pieces. I'm just like, did she really do that? Like, did she really go through a traumatic experience? Because that's what it looks like.
I mean, she's great at what she
Yeah.
does, right? I don't care for her personally because of Scientology, right?
Yeah.
And all of this, and I'm like, this bitch is not worth going through all of this stuff if you were like one of the richest people in the world.
That's
and
the
I
point.
Get, and I get that it's the whole narcissistic part that it's like, even when the brother's like, he needs you because no one's ever left him.
No,
Yeah.
because
And
you
were the
don't
only
need
one.
him.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
don't need him. That's why he wants you or whatever, and this and that. And I get that, but it's like, this is going to some really, really big extremes. And
Okay,
I
well,
don't know,
look
man.
at it
like,
this way: it's a narcissist who thinks he's a wonderkin because he's made something that nobody knows about, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
there
yeah.
you go. He put the
Okay.
narcissist on another level, and then he's like, "I'm really rich, So you got the narcissist on another level. It's like you can be a narcissist, but depending on where you live in life is your reality, right?
Okay.
So like he thinks he could he could kill himself, fake his own death. Like nothing's gonna deter him because he's got money, he's got the status.
Well, I guess
he could just disappear forever if he wanted to.
Well, I guess if his plan was, I'm just gonna frame my brother for my fake suicide anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I mean, he had a plan in that, but so I guess what you're basically saying, if we took Elon Musk and combined him with Ted Bundy, this is Adrian.
What you get.
So if Ted Bundy was rich and also like super intelligent,
that's why like even he knew he was trying to knock her up.
This is the perfect storm of narcissism.
Yes.
And and resources.
Exactly. Well,
So
even
Tony
he was
Stark
trying to
and
knock
Ted
her
Bundy.
up, right? He
There we
wanted her to be pregnant. He wanted to have a baby with her, but he still drugged her.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying he knew about the baby or whatever, but if you're trying to knock up a bitch, you probably shouldn't be giving her diazepam enough
That's
to knock
just
her
Valium,
out.
though.
But even still, like especially that early, if you're trying to have a baby with somebody, but that just shows that nothing mattered. That was the level of narcissism he was at.
Well, it doesn't. It never does, and that's why when you get those people like the fucking. God, I don't want to go too much into the Colorado guy in that documentary thing where he killed the wife and the kids and dumped them in that oil field thing.
Oh,
I remember that dude.
Yes.
So in the end, nothing matters. It's like,
nothing
these are
matters.
my kids or whatever, but it doesn't matter if you're going to try and stand in the way of what I really want, which is not this anymore. So
don't do that, kids. Don't be a narcissist.
Don't
Go to
marry,
therapy.
Don't marry narcissists.
Yes, there are signs. There are warning signs, and you run
plenty of
away
signs.
from those warning signs. It's okay.
You call someone reliable to pick you up at 4:15 in the morning, and
You
know
can
that they'll
call
fucking
me.
be
I'll
there.
be 10 minutes late, 10 to 15. We'll give maybe a 20. We'll say 10, 15.
Let's go a solid half an hour.
There you go.
But I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm really good at being there eventually.
Here's the rule of thumb. Here's how you know your friends. If you have a friend that's always late, here's a good rule of thumb, right? So tell them to be there as long as it would take for them to get tired of waiting for you and leave, right? So if they're willing to wait 15 minutes for you before they're like, fuck it, I'm leaving, tell them 15 minutes early. So that way, if you actually get there on time, you're getting there right when they were about to leave anyway, and you're ready to go.
It goes to what I told you. If you know someone's perpetually late and you know you need them to be there at 4 a.m., attend. Tell them like at 3:30.
Exactly. It's not our fault. We
Like,
really
get there
try
at
hard.
Get there at 3:30, maybe even 3.
Some of us aren't good at getting ourselves together, okay? That's all.
If you need someone to pick you up because you're getting abused, like you don't have to get ready. Just get in the fucking car and go get them. Because at that point, I don't think they're gonna care if you're in pajamas or if you're in fucking half
if
awake.
you call me,
right?
I don't care who it is. If you call me
Like,
to
if
be
you're half
somewhere
awake,
at 4, I'm
who
gonna be
cares?
in my PJs. I wasn't meaning like I needed to get ready. I'm just saying I have trouble waking up in the morning. Okay.
Then see again, sleep in the car.
I'm the 7 alarm clocks person. All right,
no.
I am the meme of the
So
setting.
basically,
7 alarm
what
clocks.
you're saying is like she could have been more respectable of her sister.
Yes.
And be like, look, I'll sneak out at 2:15 in the afternoon. But can you make that?
Can you make that
Like,
happen?
bye.
Be
Yeah.
here at 2:15?
I mean, she was drugging him anyway.
Like,
No,
don't be mad
that's
if I don't
the
get there
other
on time.
thing. Like, if he's this big like tech guy and all that shit, right? I'm like, there's times during the day, apparently, that he has to go down and work on shit that you'd be like, I'm going to run to the store. I mean, we don't know the dynamics. And
No,
whatever,
there's
but
no
I mean,
running to the
there's-
store at that level. There's no running to the store. I'll have my servant run to the store.
There's no servants there.
Yeah, there weren't any.
You can have somebody bring groceries to your front door these days. You don't need.
So there are no
people in your
Ubers.
house.
There's no Ubers at 3:45 in the morning that she could have.
There should have been. Well, she takes that one Uber, though, remember?
She does
Can
take
we-
that one Uber.
Yeah, can we start like a domestic Uber? Like, just be here at this time.
This underground railroad.
This
of
underground
domestic
railroad
violence
Uber
victims.
system,
We're gonna
right?
help
Like-
you. We're gonna help all domestic violence victims. But no, like this movie, and again, like I said, Sleeping with the Enemy, which is a great movie, by the way. It's
Yes.
by the same director who did The Good Son.
Did anybody else laugh when, what is it? Cecilia and what's her name?
The little girl.
Sydney, when they're in the room and when they start freaking out because they see, or she freaks out and then she's like calms her down and the next thing you know, he punches her.
Oh yeah, I was like, man, that little kid could take a hit, man.
I laughed.
When the kid
Like I know it wasn't supposed to be funny, but I intentionally laughed. I'm like, that was hilarious because he just started punching people.
And see, that cop. No, I was fixated on the cop because if somebody hit my kid, or if I thought somebody hit my kid, I mean, that cop was real good about calming himself down. He's like, "You don't need to be here right now, Cecilia."
Exactly.
Okay, well, okay. He's a cop and actually probably has de-escalation training.
Probably.
He's like, let's not add to the situation.
Yeah.
Let's just get everyone calm and separated.
I see my kid bleeding. I'm throwing bows. I'm just saying.
Still, though, I thought it was funny. All of a sudden,
Oh, that bitch just gave her 10 grand. Be like, all right, you can one slap and that's it.
That's true. I mean, if somebody's paying for my kid's college,
Bought a champagne and you just gifted my daughter basically what's going to end up being $120,000.
Wouldn't that be a funny
You get one
thing?
slap.
Like he slaps her or whatever to isolate Cecilia or whatever, but they're just like, no, it's cool. I mean, you paid for my school. I mean, you said I'd have enough to go to grad school. So I mean,
I appreciate that. You get one slap. Be like, I'm giving you a bunch of money.
One punch.
I know the daughter just was like, no, she was sleeping, Dad. She just had
I fell.
She woke up. She just woke up and was having one of those bad dreams about Adrian.
Wouldn't that be some shit?
Like she just makes an excuse for her like that. Like just,
Wouldn't that be like?
Bitch, you're gonna give me $240 now.
That would only be in white
Cover
people because only white people have that level of avoidance.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Your tooth is on the floor. We can buy another one. I got 10 grand in the
in
bank.
a white people's house.
It's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna have a bunch of money. I can afford dental.
Wouldn't that be
work
funny
now.
that's if like Cecilia had went to a waspy white people's house and like he just gets annoyed because everybody just pretends like shit didn't happen.
See, I thought it was like when she finally kind of realized stuff, right? Like that's what I'm like, you know what? You got all this fucking money. Like they signed all these papers. Like even though the brother was in on it and all these things, right? They signed all these contracts saying you're getting this amount for every month and for the next 4+ years, to get the $5 million or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and then once she starts realizing like he's really there, like something's going on. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's actually here and he's invisible. Like, bitch, you hop on a plane, you spend that fucking money. Like, like, cause you like, how's he going to go to all these places? Like he's going to expend his money or try and sneak on, like get on one plane and then before they close the door, you get the fuck off real quick and be like, close the door, like right now.
Yep.
Just get off that goddamn plane, start running, you hop on another plane, go anywhere. Like, just
and
travel the
money,
world.
Just
you know
get
what?
your own plane.
Yeah.
Or you just start doing shit around the house to try to get him to force himself out. Like,
like travel the world and be like, you're going to keep fucking following me, trying to hop on every plane I go to? Like, go right ahead.
Right? You're going to work
And so
for my ass.
the moment she got a fucking letter at that house when nobody knew, I'm like, nope, bitch, you are out. They know where you are. You've been compromised. Your ass needs to run.
Yes.
You send your sister there to go see what the fuck they want? Because I'm assuming the sister was like a lawyer or something.
Something like that. It looked like that. When she goes out the front door for the first time and she sees that guy running, I'm like, that looks like Adrian. Like that could be him.
There was a lot of like subtle visual things they did in this movie to make you think or just nosing. One of the things that they did, I don't know the actor's name that played the brother, but they decided to give him clothes that were just a few sizes too small for him, just to give you that look that when you looked at him, you're like, there's something just not right.
Yeah,
it was just to give you that impression, like when you look at this guy, there's something just off about him. Like you can't put your finger on it, but there's something off about him.
Like I don't trust you.
But I love the fact, and I think it was part of the actor's delivery too, when Cecilia and the cop friend go and she's like, make him stop, and he's like, Cecilia, the greatest thing he could do is just make you think that there's stuff still going on even after he's dead. Yeah. And I'm like, that's a good way to fucking look at it. Like, I know you were abused by him and, we share that, and I just, the fact that he just took the time and like related to her and was like reassured her and even made it seem, like, look, he's just doing this in your head. He's dead. Move on, Cecilia.
Yeah.
I love how he did.
Slimy.
I did love the fact how the brother dropped that one line when they were at the office about how she says, well, he is here. And he says, he says something along the lines of, well, he is here.
Well, yeah. You are close to
whatever.
him physically.
Yeah. And that's
something
kind of
like that.
Yeah. When he says that, though, but it's still kind of like, okay, he's living rent free in your mind kind of type of thing. But when knowing what we know now is like he probably was there. And he was like, I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying.
Yeah. I could see the brother just wanting to borrow the suits to go hang out at like locker rooms and shit.
Gross.
Here's my question about the suit.
That's what that brother would do.
Here's my question about the suit and pretty much being invisible in general. Do you have to be naked or can you be invisible?
I'm assuming you can wear whatever you want under the suit. Because, he was an optics guy.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's similar to like the stealth technology they've been kind of working with for years to where it's like, you have cameras and basically screens that show you a reflection of like on
What's
top
behind,
of top of this plane there would be the moon, right? And underneath we have a screen that's just showing you what would be behind on the other side.
Yeah,
so,
that's kind of
so to you it looks like there's nothing there. So it was basically a bunch of cameras and screens showing you what would normally be there.
But with that suit though, did he have to be naked in it?
I don't think so.
I think
you would. That thing is skin tight. How could you not?
You could wear chonies.
Yeah, but still.
That's not naked.
You could wear
I walk down the street in my chonies.
You could wear the green screen suit.
The green screen suit.
Thin kind of suit. Yeah. You wear that underneath the other things, and then.
But what about the other invisible dudes? Do they have to be naked too, or do you?
Why are you fixated on dudes being naked?
That's a question I've always had.
You had a question about dudes being naked.
No, I'm not talking about dudes being naked. People being invisible in general.
You said dudes being naked like 4 times in the last 2 minutes.
Okay, so are you saying like Hollow Man?
No, people being like invisible.
Yeah, so like their physical form is invisible.
I think it depends on how it happens. If it's some sort of like chemical, accident, and then all of a sudden like think about Memoirs of an Invisible Man with Chevy Chase.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I think Carpenter. There's somebody had to do that. I think that would be a Carpenter movie too, actually. So fuck you both for not ever having watched that movie. It's some sort of weird accident in the building that he works in. Mm-hmm. So in that movie, the whole building gets evacuated, but for some reason he was stuck in the building and didn't realize whatever. So in that movie, something happened in the whole building itself and everything in it.
So his clothes
all went visible. So he was fully clothed when it happened.
Okay, so you'd still have those
like in Hollow Man,
clothing, yeah,
you'd have those clothing, but they'd be invisible. So you were fucking took them off, you'd never find them again.
Yeah.
So, but in Hollow Man, I believe he was naked because there was that.
Yeah.
There was the CGI scene where they put his wiener in swinging back and forth.
Yes.
When it was looking, because it was like they were looking at infrared, and he's walking up, and he's like,
he's flopping.
And I remember in an interview, he said, he's like, well, that was put in by CGI. He's like, that's not actually my work.
See, because what you've seen Mystery Men, right? Remember Kel?
Yeah.
He goes invisible, but he tells everyone nobody's seen him, and then he gets naked.
Well, yeah, but so that's his power, though.
Yeah, so his power was his physical form.
So it's open to interpretation.
It's open to you to fantasize about as many naked dudes as you want to.
I'm not. I'm just doing it in general because, look, Invisible Woman in Fantastic Four.
You're just doing what in general? Talking about naked dudes?
No, because Invisible Woman in Fantastic Four, with her suit, she can transform her suit to be invisible.
So it's
but
like
if she's
Violet
not wearing
Parr.
it,
Violet Parr, if you have a suit, if you have a super suit, that'll go completely with you.
But everyone you're talking about has powers, and it's not as a result of some sort of scientific accident or something like that.
So it's like.
And so if it has to do with technology or science, you can probably keep your clothes that you're wearing once you turn
invisible.
invisible.
Like Mr. Freeze. So it's like your Mr. Freeze. You fall into the shit, you're invisible forever, right? But
Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, Mr. Freeze. Well, he wasn't invisible, but you know what I mean. He fell into something. He was Mr. Free forever. Yeah, it's the same type of scenario. But if
just wait till summer and he's defeated. Oh.
Yeah. But if you do something to your physical form, then you're naked underneath forever.
Okay.
Right?
That's like saying, does the Spider-Man have to be naked to use his Spidey powers, or can he wear his clothes?
No.
It's the same thing, Saul.
Okay.
I don't think I would be naked. I would get cold.
I would.
You would just see.
You would be naked?
No, if you were to be invisible and you had a choice of either being clothed or naked, I'd rather be clothed. I don't want to be walking around naked invisible.
Well, when you said I would, I was like, you'd rather be naked? Like,
I mean, there's just too much soft bits exposed to the world.
Because you gotta walk around barefoot, and if you step on rocks and stuff, that would hurt.
Stuff like your dick's hanging out, like who knows, like just road grind.
Nobody needs invisible dick swinging around. All right?
And all of a sudden, like it's raining, like you're just freezing as fuck.
Yeah, and then everybody can see all your bits getting rained on. All right, we've gone way.
Plus, like, you know how much you would smell as an invisible person if you couldn't be invisible? Because when would you ever be able to go do anything as an invisible person? That's assuming that people knew about you and were okay with you being an invisible person.
Well, you were a person at some point, so I'm assuming you have like a home. I don't think they're just out there turning homeless people invisible.
Okay, but in Memoirs of an Invisible Man, the government is after him. Like, the government is after him.
Well, okay, so if he would have let the government take him, he would have had somewhere to shower.
Okay. But how do you live your life ever, though?
I don't know.
If Saul turned invisible right now,
all right,
you
so
couldn't go to work.
Say, don't become invisible
anymore. And you couldn't do it. How would you make money if you were invisible? You'd have to either go steal or what?
I would just steal.
That's what I would cause mischief. Is what
I
I
would
would do.
go to
Okay,
Red
but how would
Lobster
you
and
pay
fucking
your
take
bills,
a box
man?
of shit off the line.
They would think I'm dead. I would have no bills.
Yeah.
But people would see a floating box at Red Lobster and tackle your ass.
I ain't give no fucks. They ain't gonna tackle my
I would
ass.
cause
They're
some
gonna be like,
mischief
why
like
is
crazy.
that?
It'd be fun.
Okay, think about The Stand. What happens to Stu Redman? Oh, you've got a natural immunity to this. Come to this government lab where we're going to keep you. So if there's an invisible fucking dude, the government's going to want you to use your ass as a weapon. So no, you don't have your life anymore. So you can't shower.
They'd have
you
to
either have
find
to
you.
go on the run.
Well, like I said, just don't become invisible.
You'd have to go on the run and
Too many
stink.
pitfalls. Too
Take
many
a dump in an
pitfalls.
alley every once in a while.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
need to
would be
go
the
on the
worst
run. They
life
wouldn't be
ever.
able to see you. You
Okay,
just run
so-
behind something.
The
We've
predator
talked-
would find you with heat vision.
There you go.
The
infrared.
predator would find you. Okay,
That's what they would do. They'd
So-
send your ass against the predator. That's the kind of intergalactic bullshit that you'd have to deal with if you all
But
of a
the
sudden
predator
became
can
invisible.
see infrared.
I'm not even talking about the predator specifically. I'm saying that's the kind of intergalactic bullshit that you'd be like, you're an invisible man. We can send you anywhere to do anything.
Well, okay, I wouldn't go up against the predator.
They would send you on espionage missions and
Oh
fucking
yeah,
just
you'd for sure have
you'd
to
have
go.
to be like everywhere.
I would be like, send me to the Area 13 first.
No, you would
or Area 51, not
No,
13.
you would you would be in that you would be in like the Monsters versus Aliens lab
Yes,
where
I
like
would.
where like you'd be in that thing with the monsters like okay, well this is the big the
I would.
moth guy or whatever.
And I would go
like,
along with it. Just tell me the other secrets first,
Yes.
you'd
because
be-
that's my thing.
you'd
I
be-
want to
you'd
know
be
all the
with
secrets.
You'd be with Hellboy and the fish guy.
I could dig it.
Ape sapien.
I could
Yes.
dig it.
Yeah, so that'd be the Justice League of weird.
Yeah. So why not go?
I wouldn't use my powers for
Because
good.
you'd
I'd use my
always
powers
be
for mischief.
invisible.
I'd be playing pranks and messing with people is what I'd be doing.
You'd be visiting chicks' locker rooms too.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be messing with people.
Don't do that.
It's happened.
I would be messing with people. I would go to the grocery store and start chucking apples at people.
If this was like a teenage invisible, this is why it has to be Invisible Man. Because if it was Invisible Boy, it'd just be a 2-hour jerk fest. Like,
Ew.
chicks' locker rooms.
Gross.
I'd just go to Fry's and start chucking fries.
What would Invisible Woman be like? Where she would just complain about stuff? Like, why can't I see? Nothing goes with this.
No. Okay. Speaking of Invisible Woman, I think that's where they were headed at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Moss has said she is 100% down. Leigh Whannell has said I never planned on doing a sequel, but we'll see.
I wouldn't know how a sequel would work. Would she just be taking revenge out on people?
I know. What would she even be doing at that point?
I don't think that
There's a third brother.
No.
It'll be some stupid.
No. I think because I know that Universal wants to reinvent the Dark Universe. They do
They
want
wanted
it.
to.
No,
wanted
they're
to.
slowly bringing it back.
They're still trying, I think, and they're
Well,
taking
this
it.
was a big reason
they're
that they're
taking
still
it.
trying.
They're taking it. I think they're reevaluating after this movie, but after that Dracula Untold movie flopped,
Not just that
and
though.
then
No, the Mummy.
and
Yeah.
then the Mummy flopped.
The Mummy was their big.
Well, see,
That was their
I
hopes.
think this is the thing that they've reevaluated is with those movies they were trying to plan the shared universe for everything
Yeah.
to be in. But when those flopped and they kind of let 1L do what he wanted with this and made it more as a standalone thing that couldn't be part of the universe, I think what they're thinking now is maybe we'll just make standalone movies and not try and do this big universe because we obviously know what the fuck we're doing.
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna swing it back around, and I think that's where
and
she could
that's
come
where it's
back
gonna
in.
and then it'll be shitty. I feel like because
No,
then you're
I
just
don't
making
think
it
so.
I
because
just
then
don't
you're
know.
making a movie to tie into other fucking movies, and that's you're going down the Warner Brothers path, and that's it's not.
No, I don't think because Warner Brothers got too bogged down by comic book nerds. I feel.
Here's the thing that I don't get though. Like, I mean, you can try to do a sequel, but really, what's going to be the point of what's she going to do other than try to do vengeance on people? Because
I don't know where you go with a good sequel. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where you
Y'all
go
are
with it.
very unimaginative. If that's
okay,
all
just
you
being
can think a
imaginative,
woman
but-
would do with an
No, I'm
invisible
saying-
suit.
Okay, but to have it go along with this storyline.
Why does it have to? Why can't Cecilia start her own new life because her sister's dead? Her ex crazy boyfriend is now dead.
Okay,
why
then
can't it
where's-
be about Cecilia's new adventures as the invisible woman?
Then where's your conflict?
Yeah.
So then you want to turn it into the cheesy invisible.
Oh, I forgot, Paul. Life only has one conflict ever.
No, but I'm like, what's the conflict if you don't tie it back?
Yeah.
There has to be repercussions from this movie for a sequel.
Why
So
wouldn't
how
there
do
be repercussions?
Then what's the conflict
Her
in your
sister
sequel?
was dead. People thought she did it. There could be a whole new line of
Okay,
repercussions
but
for that line.
because you have 20 people at the fucking mental health hospital be like, there was something weird going on. I swear to God.
They said something weird.
I swear to God.
Not just that, though, but they
They
have
said
those
something
cameras
weird.
that
They
picked up on
never
everything.
nailed
There was an
down.
invisible man right there.
They never nailed it down. And then it all got wrapped up tightly with the brother or whatever. But then now that he was back and he's committed suicide, it kind of implicates him again.
But what did the cop say before Cecilia wanted to go back to Adrian and do that whole sting operation that she talked him into? He said, whatever was in that suit, if it worked, it doesn't work now. But we know that, we have 20 people or whoever that will say, something weird happened that night.
No, he was
And the
saying...
fact that she wasn't in jail at that point or being held anymore says that she was let off the hook, or at least they were like, okay, something weird is going on, and maybe it wasn't you.
Maybe the conflict is somebody is looking for the suit. I mean, he obviously made it for a reason. I doubt he completely kept it to himself.
So fine. Then the only way that you're going with that is if you have some other... I don't want to say I don't want to say the third brother, but some other narcissistic rich guy that's like, I also have one of these because he invented it.
Aren't all the villains narcissistic rich guys?
So you want this to be a comic book movie now?
No, it's... What other movie has no narcissistic rich white guys, Paul?
We're talking about horror or are you talking about movies?
Talking about any movie.
Because then you're taking this movie away from horror.
Rich white guys.
No, it was those dumb people that found the stuff.
Yes.
No, it was the rich white guys who wanted to sell the stuff. Remember?
Selling the stuff is different than marketing is not the same as inventing.
Yes.
He invented it for evil and used it for evil. If you
Still.
market it the right way, it's not evil.
Well, that's the whole thing. Cecilia
Flamethrowers
wants to
exist.
use it for good.
Flamethrowers exist, and you can get on a website right now and order one. But it depends how you use it. Zombie apocalypse.
Don't tell people to use things for bad.
I'm not telling people to use things for bad.
That's basically what you just did.
Saying you can have a flamethrower, but don't use it for bad.
People
Yeah,
are
you can use it to melt snow and clear your driveway.
Don't. That seems like it'll set your house on fire.
No,
Don't do that.
I saw a video of somebody doing it.
I would rather do that than
So,
shovel anything.
Lots of
man.
people have seen videos that science doesn't exist. So shush your mouth and
What,
don't tell people.
The
to
video
do
of somebody
dangerous things.
clearing their driveway with a flamethrower does exist.
I know,
Heat-
but people are stupid, Saul, and maybe that guy knows how to use a flamethrower, and we shouldn't be telling people to order flamethrowers off the internet and then melt their snow in their driveway.
I'm not telling anyone to do anything. We're just saying you could do these things. Okay.
Saul.
Okay. Scientifically, heat plus ice equals water.
Yes.
Science.
No, we're gonna get sued.
Books. By who? If any
Dumb
put a
people
disclaimer?
that do this.
I'm not saying okay, Scary Nerd has no
Don't
implications.
do
The
this.
disclaimer.
Don't do this.
Do what you want, but it's not. If we talked you into doing it, then you need to reevaluate your life and why you're making life decisions based off a fucking podcast.
Yes.
So there's your
Paul
disclaimer.
and Saul have never done this, so don't listen to them.
There's your disclaimer.
There you go. All right, let's get back to the movie.
We're waiting for you.
So the end where he's like, it wasn't me, it was my brother.
Not just that, though, but let's talk about how the shit that went down when she was actually in the, what is it? I wouldn't say the seance line. Wasn't she like in a precinct?
No, she was in the hospital. She was in the hospital.
Okay, I had to have taken. Okay, that was another thing that I was like, this doesn't make sense either, because it says like mental health hospital, but I'm like, why does everyone have guns on?
Well, because she killed somebody.
But those were police. They weren't mental health hospitals. Their uniforms and everything said police. So is she in the mental health wing of the police station that's just happened to be huge and available?
That was my
Maybe.
guess.
And if so, they wouldn't have guns.
That's true. Well, it's New Zealand. None of them
It's
would have
supposed to be
had guns.
California.
It's supposed to be what, San Francisco?
Yeah.
Somewhere in California.
But still, the
I
other
like
thing about
that
it, though,
part.
here's the thing that I didn't get about that part either is, okay, you're in a police station, psych asylum, whatever the hell you want to call it. You see all this shit happening where all these people are getting killed. I'm like, there's freaking security cameras. You can get exonerated by this shit
The one
now.
guy had the gun just in front of him in the air while he stood there and then ended up getting shot in like the leg or something.
Yeah.
So he didn't really kill any of those people.
No, he just beat them
So
up.
you have a guy that at least one guy can be like, the gun was floating in front of me and then it walked away and then shot me in
We're
the
not
leg.
arguing about that anymore. I don't
Okay,
know why you're yelling.
then there's no repercussions on her. The whole thing of you about saying that there's repercussions.
I said there could be. I was just throwing out ideas
Then
because
she's
you're like,
no-
there's nothing could work because girls can't do things.
Well, if you could do things, you'd come up with better story for part 2.
I did. You came up with nothing. So fuck off.
I don't think this movie needs a sequel, so fuck off.
But okay, but again, you have all this shit going on, and you have, obviously, if you're in a police station, whatever asylum you're in, you're gonna have tons of surveillance.
Yeah.
So when all that shit happened, I'm like, why doesn't she just stay put and be like, this shit's gonna exonerate me now?
She doesn't stay put because Adrian tells her he's going to kill the girl.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. He's like, you think you're learning how to defeat me, but I'll just hurt people close to you.
I laughed out loud when okay, and again, if you're in a mental health fucking hospital, you can't have a gate with a fucking a door handle where you just, there's the gate.
I know, I'm like, that should be locked.
Like, really? like, I get it. They're like, well, we have guns. If anyone gets out, we'll just shoot them. Like,
that one side gate really should remain locked at all times.
Did anyone lock the gate tonight? No. Nah, fuck
it's raining.
It's raining. I don't go out
Not
there.
doing it.
Yeah, I laughed out loud when the one guy gets out after the car accident. The one guy in the SUV gets out.
Like, what the fuck?
And then she's still like, what are you doing? Like what?
He's okay. He's fine. He was just bleeding a little bit. He's good.
He's fine. He's bleeding from his ears, but he's out in the rain. He's like, gotta go.
The thing that I was waiting for would have been that cool shot to where you see the suit being hit by all the water and you see the outline
trickle down.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that. I'm like, oh, they didn't do it.
Yeah, because when she goes, I think we were all waiting for it. That was one of those things that you were talking about, like that he shied away from. Because I think I was waiting to see the whole suit outline. And then she follows him to where he's underneath something. Yeah. So like that's why you didn't see it because he's underneath a hatchback or some shit like that.
I'm glad that they didn't because then it would have just made me think of the TLC video of Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. Remember that horrible fucking CGI?
That
was
was
just like
that
stick.
We did get a little bit of it as he was walking away, but it was in between the suit shortening out, so it wasn't a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
See, plus, there were people that did see the suit half and half. So, especially the one guy that got shot in the parking lot.
Yeah, because he even tells her, "Don't do anything stupid."
Yeah, and that was more of like his last ditch effort of like, don't escape because we didn't lock the gate.
No, I think at that point he fully knew something was going on.
How do you fully know? How do you just one night think, I just saw an invisible man?
If this bitch was in this hospital, like, listen, there's an invisible guy running around, and we're like, oh, this crazy bitch, and then an invisible fucking man shows up, I'm gonna be like, whoa, Cecilia wasn't crazy, shit.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna think that quickly. They're not gonna put two and two together that quickly.
I would. I'd be like, motherfucker.
Well, plus you don't know. You don't know what that guy knew.
Sorry, you were right.
And they purposely another thing that I really appreciate that Whannell did was they framed it in certain scenes like with extra space for you to kind of wonder, is he there or is he not?
Oh yeah,
like just to mess with you. And
I was searching every time they pointed the camera somewhere else. I was like,
really
what is it?
That extra space. And he's like, I left things like that, and I just so that people would kind of like, I have to pay attention to the background, and he's like, because I knew people would be doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, he got me the second time with when he turns up the heat on the food she's cooking in the kitchen. Because you don't really see it. You just see the temperature rise up, like the flames pop up, but then you see the knife fall. And it's such a little like sleight of hand. Like it's almost like he scooped it off, real fast. And then you never see it again until she finds it in the attic. Yeah. But that scene, every time after that, where it like kind of panned to a large open area or it was just so backed out, I was looking for shit. I was
turned into where's Waldo?
Yeah, I was like, is something else moving?
Where is he?
I was going to make this point earlier, and I think I just forgot because, we just go off on tangents.
We do.
But in the attic
I think we
scene,
had a whole fight.
in the attic scene, they cut some stuff to where when she finds the phone, the knife, and was something else? Her portfolio stuff. Apparently, in other versions, there was like clothes and like stuff.
Food,
like her clothes and food and stuff like that, and they decided to cut that. But I guess in the attic scene, as she's going like towards the ladder to get down, apparently, I guess if you look, there's still like a pile of her clothes in the corner or somewhere.
You can see it.
Yeah, it was the Easter egg or something, or just kind of one of those things you can find. But I'm glad they took that away too, because it kind of made it more menacing just to not think about the logistics of him having to live or whatever, quote unquote, as like an invisible man. I'd be like, what's he gonna eat and all that kind of shit. So like, it was more just kind of made it seem like he knew what the fuck he was doing and was like everything was just planned out to a T. Almost.
Yeah, because I didn't even think about him living there. Like I just assumed that was a way to fuck with her. I didn't think that he was like living in the attic the whole time.
Yeah, it's
because
definitely...
the way when she finds it, it's so like Adrian's character. It's very sterilized. It's very neat, and it's all like in order.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's clearly where he's put stuff and he's planning. But I didn't think that he was like.
If anyone ever has anything of yours,
just don't.
It's never good.
It's never good.
You're either gonna get framed, or they're gonna put a curse on you, or it's murder or voodoo is really what it comes down to.
Why do you have my shit?
Why do you have my hair from? All right, never mind. This is voodoo
Y'all can
shit.
take my shit for voodoo. I don't believe in it.
I don't
so.
care.
You're like, I haven't found that trunk light in forever, and your ass has it. Why do you have
I don't know if I believe in it, but I also don't want to be that dumbass that's like, I don't believe in it. Bring it on.
Well, I don't have a southern accent, so I'm not that.
It doesn't matter. So if I don't believe in stuff, then it doesn't happen. So I don't believe.
You know how much hair I lose on a daily basis? If somebody wants my fucking hair, they're gonna find it in somewhere. They could go to my car right now.
Get a brush.
Plus, that's like the easiest thing to get.
Yeah.
You know, like I could come over to your house and like.
And I've pissed a lot of people off in my day. I'm sure some bitches have cursed me at this point.
It's a good thing, yeah. Then I would just say, like, it's a good thing that the people that pissed off are too dumb to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
There you go. They can never figure out voodoo enough.
Yes.
Yeah. I love at the end where she goes back and it shows like how she's got, she's wired and everything. And up until the very end, like up until that when he slits his own throat, I didn't realize that's what they were going for. Like I knew something was coming, but I didn't know that like she was going to give it to him in such a way that would be so beautifully perfect.
Oh, I saw it coming.
I
was like, yeah, that's good.
See, I don't know what she was going for. I think to me that kind of took me aback because like I didn't know what she was doing. Like I know she was trying to get a confession out of him.
Yeah.
And what she was going to try to do eventually was just trying to beat it out of him. And then when she does the whole I'm going to be back, and then I kind of started figuring out, okay, she's going to do the invisible suit thing. And
no, as soon as they showed that camera angle, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you know what's happening.
Yeah,
she's perfectly out of okay, yeah, that's gonna work.
I love that and it's so smart on Leigh Whannell's part. Like when they show him sitting at the table, and he's getting mad. You can see him. He's getting mad because she's making him wait.
Yeah.
And like it's that whole thing, and he has this face, and then it's fast again. It's like the sister. It's so fast. Like he only struggles for a second because he doesn't even realize what's happening at first. Just like the sister, it's just poetic. It's very beautiful.
I know we talked about it, but who did you think was the one who killed the sister?
Oh, it was Adrian.
You think it was him?
Yeah. I don't think the brother was there until the end. Like I think the only time the brother got into the suit was when he called him to go to Sydney to kill Sydney.
There's a couple times though. Did you read any of the trivia where they were both in it at the same time?
No, I didn't read it.
See, I think it was Adrian for sure, only because for the fact that the sister picked her up.
Yeah.
So it was more like it
was a punishment.
It was like I'm getting you back and putting this on her. So
because the one thing. Well, after reading the trivia, if you go back, I know you guys said you saw it multiple times, though, but they said in the trivia, if you pay close enough attention, there's a scene in there where they're both in the house. Like when, what's her name, Sydney's running away.
Yeah.
Because remember when she goes in the house and he attacks her?
Mm-hmm.
When she sprays the mace.
Yeah.
He's in there, and obviously he's debilitated because he's got mace in his face, and she starts running out of the room. Something hits her, and it's the other one.
So how many fucking suits did he have? His was shorting out.
Two, maybe three.
But if his was shorting out,
yeah,
and they both had one on, and she had already hid that other one.
She hid one.
How many fucking suits is there, man?
And plus, how did he get back to his house so fast and put himself into the hole and everything after the fact? Because, like, yeah, they show it as like a little bit later or whatever. It would obviously take time to mobilize, but like, I don't think it would be that long.
See, that's what I thought too, because I'm like, his suit was shorting out, so he's like, well, fuck, I can't go and do any of this. So he calls the brothers, like, go take care of the other girl. And that's when he was like, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
Whatever happens to him, I'm getting to the basement right now.
Yeah.
Just making it look like I was kidnapped this whole fucking time. So I don't see how he could have been there too. Even though they don't storm his house until like the next morning or whatever.
Yeah, so I would say still, like, that's a movie mistake.
That seemed like it was a long drive. If she called that Uber and like it took all day to get there.
It looked like it was
night,
remote.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was far from where she was.
Here's the one thing to do after we get done with this. Read the trivia things, and they said that there's a lot of subtle hints that both of them were in it at the same time around the same places.
I've heard there were subtle hints, but only Whannell will says, "I know which ones are which," but I don't think he'll ever tell.
Yeah, he won't.
But why? That's weird, though. Like, why would the brother?
Because he controls him.
Because
of what he said, how he hated him too, how he's a jellyfish, so he's getting him to do that.
But I just thought
too.
that was all lies. Like
I
that,
don't know.
I don't think. Like, I get the whole narcissism, right? And I do think that narcissists get into people close to them. They always do, but they do it in a way that you don't know you're being controlled. But at a certain point, you're gonna be like, "Why am I trying to kill this bitch?"
Okay.
I mean, that's just me and all.
Okay, but we don't really know much of the brothers' backstory either. We
that's
don't know
true.
much about the brothers.
See, that's
So
what the sequel could be. Cecilia just goes after the family and takes all the narcissists down.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, what if it's a pair of narcissist brothers that are both like, no one would do that to our family, our name, or this shit like that.
Well, I'm glad they both got it in the end. I'm glad that line is no more, because clearly she's not having that baby.
No.
Ugh,
That's why
can't have the baby.
we need choices.
Not opening that up.
But yeah, no, this movie is brilliant. It took.
Why couldn't the dad take the brother better? Even if he's fucking invisible. Like, as soon as you feel someone hitting you, be like, okay, I'm just going to start swinging wildly then.
He did get a couple good hits.
No,
in.
like, he got his ass beat by the invisible
He
brother.
did.
And
He
that
did.
Weasley little fucker, like, no, come on. That dude would have taken him to town, man.
Yeah, he would have.
But then again, if you don't know where it's coming from, how do you know where to defend yourself?
If something hits me in front of me and you're in a skinny ass hallway, I'm hitting in front of me.
How do you know if they're not behind you?
Because it's a skinny ass hallway, I just said. They were in the hallway, man.
Still.
Yeah.
Then you start swinging wildly and going in circles until you hit something.
Yes,
You
just
start
like
kicking
that.
the air,
You
swinging in the
pinwheel
air.
it. You pinwheel
Just drop to
it.
the floor, kick up. You'll hit something, man.
You start doing the moshing thing in there.
Yeah.
He had a gun, too, and even though after, like, the whole gun part got
Sydney,
kicked
get down.
away.
Just shoot into the air.
Yeah, lay down. Just shoot
Yeah.
here and above. Like,
That's my plan if an invisible man ever comes into my house.
Or get a pet, because the pet will be able to pick up where they're at right away.
See, the dog knew the whole time.
The dog
Zeus
did know.
knew in that scene where
It
she
can't
goes
be
back
a
to
cat,
hide
though,
the
because
suit.
cats just stare at random corners.
Yeah, well, see, every time the cat does that, it is actually staring at something.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's a
There's a
lost
demon in your
soul. There's a
house if
demon
a
in
cat
the-
stares into the corner.
It's trying to kill something.
Anyway, enjoy your night.
Yeah, have a good sleep. Man. Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. What were we talking about? Just
Talking
right
about in
now?
the
But the dog.
hallway,
The
the
hallway,
dog,
the
yeah.
dog.
I don't remember. Oh, the dad. He has one of those familiar faces. And I looked up his IMDb, and there was
He was
not,
in The Walking Dead.
There was, okay, I know that, but I mean, like,
I
I
remember
know
from
I've
Straight Outta
seen him
Compton.
in a million things before that. And I found he was in Die Hard with a Vengeance, who Samuel L. Jackson, conversely enough, plays a guy named Zeus. He was one of the two kids that Samuel L. Jackson was like, get your ass to school or whatever. They end up getting stuck in the building that's about to blow up or whatever.
I haven't seen Die Hard with a Vengeance.
What the fuck is the matter with you, Saul? Get out. That's it.
No.
That's Kim's turn.
No.
It was a 90s movie, right?
No, it was one of the earlier ones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Die Hard with a Vengeance was like the third one, man.
Yeah.
Why do I get that confused with the last one that he did?
You were thinking it was
Free-
the new one?
No,
New one?
Live Free or Die
No,
Hard,
no,
and then
no.
it was A Good Day to Die Hard or some
Something
shit.
like
I have
that.
not seen that
The one
one.
with
Yeah.
Justin Long.
No, the one with Samuel L. Jackson I'm talking about, that was the third one. That
Yeah,
was
that was the
90
third
what?
one.
Okay, I did see that one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I did see that one.
95? Yes, that
Yeah,
one. He
where
was one of
they-
the kids.
Yeah, where all they've got bombs in the schools, or they say they've got
Yeah,
bombs
in the beginning,
schools all
it's
over
the kids,
city.
and he's like, you guys need to get to school and blah, blah, blah. And then as they're walking out, that's when he sees John McClane with the sign.
that says something.
It
Yes.
says the N-word or something on it.
Yeah, and he's naked underneath, right?
No, he's got his wife beater and his boxers on.
Ah, yeah. And he was like, somebody's gonna die today or something.
Yeah, he's like, call the police. He's like, what? 'Cause I'm about to
Yeah,
murder
yeah.
somebody or something. Like, he says something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, so he was one of those kids. So that was random. I'm like,
Yeah,
he
no,
looked
I was
familiar.
like, Walking
No, as
Dead
soon as
guy.
I saw him,
I remember him from Walking Dead, but I still haven't seen Straight Outta Compton. Actually,
that's where I.
I know he
remembered
played
him from.
MC Ren in
Yes.
that, but yeah, I just like, wow, I'm an old man now. He was a kid in a movie I watched when I was a kid.
We are all old now. It's 2021.
I don't.
Yeah.
Like, that's bananas.
Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year!
So-
We made it through 2020, guys. We did it.
I saw a meme today that was like, "Don't be so excited about 2021." Because Mad Max starts in 2021.
Yeah.
And then it showed a picture of I Am Legend, and it said that started with a vaccine that didn't work. So,
Yes.
So we'll keep making podcasts as long as we can, I guess.
Yes.
We will. But hey, if the world gets funnier, we'll just talk about that again.
Yes.
It'll be a podcast about the Earth.
About the Earth. And we'll refer to old movies that used to be wildly entertaining.
Remember the scene in this movie?
When we were like, that'll never happen.
And now it's reality.
Fuck, they tried to warn us.
That's what 2020 did to us. We're just rolling with the punches.
No,
whatever happens, we're just prepared for it now.
It's Mad Max, I Am Legend with just a hint of idiocracy in there, and that's where we're living in 2020.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that was Invisible Man. We all loved it. I love this movie. It was perfect. It was old Hollywood to me. What did you guys think?
I liked it. It wasn't a bad movie. It's one of those. It's a slow build, and it gives you a really, really good payoff.
Yeah, there's tons of tension with the slowness, though.
I really like the movie. I am more and more becoming a fan of Leigh Whannell.
I dig it. Yeah.
I love the fact that he thinks about those things that probably some other directors don't or won't, care to think about. And just the fact that you're like, okay, horror people are going to be looking for the cliche shit like this. I'm just not going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make them work for the other shit that they expect to be there and have. It's almost like it's a fun game for horror fans.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be something in the background, or they're going to do this, or like, oh, they didn't do that cliche
He
thing.
thinks
So it's
about the movie from a fan perspective.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's what I love about some of these directors that are coming out. It's like, okay, what would be fun for me as a horror fan first?
But he's so good at the technically visual stuff as well.
Yes.
It's like really a perfect blend.
Yeah. If you get a chance to look at any of the behind the scenes stuff they did, specifically the scene where she gets picked up in the kitchen and then thrown against the cupboard, and then he throws her across that table.
Oh yeah, he beats the shit out of her.
That is all one long take.
Like
They did that with a guy in a green suit, and she was on cables, obviously. And they have a camera on a track that's motorized and computerized to where it moves. Nice. So basically, they filmed it once with the guy in the green suit. Then they had to film the whole thing just blank, so they could just have the same exact camera movement. So it made it that much easier for the editors to take the green guy out. Because like you're just pasting the same exact camera movement with just no one in it, and then just all the other shit happening. Nice. And they were able to move some of that stuff. Like the trivia was saying how they did some camera, visual effects, but then other stuff was just like, he's like cabinets opening, shit like that. We just had the old pull the string that you can't see.
The fishing line.
Yeah,
he's
the practical shit that
so he's
works,
like, it's a mix of practical, it's a mix of, computer stuff. He's like, and it's, in the end, he's like, it doesn't really matter which is what, because it all looks the same in the end. He's like, so if you can do it without having to use computers, he's like, as long as it looks good in the end.
Save money on
really
your budget.
What it comes to.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, he the whole idea for the opening shot where the water would come up over the words and then just kind of disappear. Yeah. While they were filming, he had that idea for that, and he was like, but I didn't realize that doing water in CGI was the hardest thing to do. He's like, so they were not happy or whatever, but he's like, it works with the movie.
It does. It gives it such that cinematic feel. And when she's walking out of the house at the end and it's just her walking alone with that bag, like, it's just classic Hollywood to me, with like, you've got the ocean in the back. Like, think about that Hitchcock movie, Rebecca.
How tall is Elizabeth Moss?
Not very.
She's 5 feet. Then I called plot hole right from the beginning because she would not have been able to jump that fence. That's it. Because even watching her do it, I'm like, she is struggling.
Yeah, she's
I'm like, it's the determination. Like, if I don't jump this wall, I'm going to get beat for making it this far.
Exactly. But hey, if Robert Downey Jr. can stand on an apple box, she can be how tall she wants to be in any shot. Okay.
I was just in rewatching it, I was thinking it's that determination. It was like, I'm going to die if I don't get over this wall. And I heard that $6 million man sound, like,
yes.
Like, that's how she did it.
You got to do it sometimes. All right. So that was The Invisible Man by Leigh Whannell. Obviously, we all loved it. We are coming back to you next week with John Carpenter's The Thing. We're going to close out January.
Birthday month.
Yes, we're going to close out January
excited.
for
We're
birthdays.
Doing,
John Carpenter.
3 select.
I know we just did They Live, but I mean, John Carpenter's amazing, so what are you going to do?
Which is why we're only doing 3, and plus, we took the last few weeks off.
We did. 2020 gave us some extra stress at the end, and we had to just take the holiday off, so we apologize. But we'll be back next week with The Thing. And then we will also be doing Christine and Body Bags to finish out the month, to do a little anthology.
Body Bags.
So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at podcast@scarynerd.com. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/scarynerd. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you guys want stickers, email us. Give us reviews, like, share, subscribe. Remember, I know we're kind of iffy on when we put out episodes. We're sorry. Life gets in the way. But if you subscribe, you will get updates when we do put out an episode. So make sure to subscribe.
We're only iffy around fucking holidays.
It's true. So. Shit gets crazy. We apologize. This is not our full-time gig, any of us. So we are trying to do it.
The end of the year is a weird time for work.
Yes.
For all of us.
There are some days in there where nobody really knows what day of the week it is. Like, it's just crazy. But anyway, we will be back next week with our John Carpenter theme. And then coming into February, we will have Revenge of the Remakes. So we've got some good stuff coming up for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.